Hello.
Morning. Thank
Hello.
you. Morning. Kick my ass, eh?
Uh-huh.
Good morning. It's cool to have a motivated wife. Then I suppose you have a motivated life. Maybe.
Oh, listen to you.
So it's my lady that's the motivated one.
Listen, I try, hey? But on the days I'm not motivated, then no one's motivated in the house. Then it's like day off,
Yeah.
lights out.
Let's get a cool angle. Go.
Okay.
Morning. Hello,
Can we move
welcome.
my bucket?
Join us. Don't move. I must move. It's over a thing.
Oh, okay. We sit on buckets, by the way. Coolest buckets in the world.
Yes, they come in very handy.
Yeah, you're going to see us road tripping to Russia with our buckets on our little roof rack.
You laugh.
They have to go everywhere with us.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
What's today? Wednesday.
Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday. Wacky. Ooh, good coffee. Mocha choca. My favorite.
Only because I've learned how to do it.
So did you know when P used to make mocha chocas? Cafe mochas, I think they were called. They don't make them anymore.
No, they don't.
Sad.
Took them off their menu, eh? We've bitched at every wimpy, but nobody listens. They don't really care.
Actually, we don't go to Wimpy anymore.
No. We just decided.
Yes.
We'd rather have a mocha choca at home.
And I suppose Mug and Bean can kind of wax that one out the park as well, because, you know, M&B rock.
Yeah, but during lockdown, when you're not making as much money, then
Yeah, they're
M&B is
expensive.
like luxury.
Yeah, did we
Anyhow.
not say, up until lockdown, we used to live on
Yes,
on
we used
Mug
to
and Bean, eh?
live in a shack, but we had mug and bean every week.
Do you remember? Yeah, that was actually the life.
It was
eh?
cool, eh?
Only because we could run across the main road and there was a 24-hour Mug and Bean takeaway.
Yo, the best toasted samis, eh?
Yeah. So yeah, when we often you often hear us say, yeah, we lived in this place off grid for 2 years, no running water, no electricity,
But there was mug and bean.
but
over
there
there.
was Mug and Bean across the road. So although
It was
that
actually a kiff place.
yeah, and when it sounds like like quite hardcore, I don't know if any of you guys have lived off grid for any period of time. It's quite hardcore, but
Yeah.
actually, it's not so hardcore if you've got a whole lot of cool stuff you can do while you're off grid. And we were able to do that. Eh?
Yeah, we had cool
Yeah.
horses and gave us a hard time. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But this place is cool, except for our weekly shopper. We still have a weekly shopper, apparently.
Yeah, can
So,
you believe it? Petty crime, eh?
Sunday nights, the guy breaks a little pane on the inn cottage's window so that he can open the window latch so that he can break the curtain rail
Rail
off so he can pull it out the window and make a hook out of the window thingy so that he can, out of the curtain rail, so he can steal a broom.
That's in the middle of the
So-
lounge, so you can slide it to him. Does that even make sense to you?
A broom, guys. So, anyway, we have a problem because now it turns out we don't need to actually be scared of the guy because he is obviously just a junkie looking for a 5 rand broom. 5 rand fix, apparently, the gardener tells us.
Or now the people know stuff, eh?
All of a sudden,
All of a
everybody's
sudden.
talking to us about the
Yeah.
weekly shopper.
The
Anyway.
intel is flowing.
But we have our own intel because thanks, Debs, for your awesome gift of 4 cameras.
Yes, woo, step, sure. Yeah, how to survive life in South Africa just because of crime is
Yeah.
to just keep staying abreast of things.
Stay ahead. See what's going on in your garden at night
So
while you're
thanks,
not,
Debs.
while you're sleeping.
Yeah,
It's actually quite interesting. We've seen the cats do weird things. I mean, our little ginger cat just absolutely loves the red light district outside our doors. So he goes and he sits in front of the red light sensors and sets them
And
off
sets them
every
off,
night
yeah.
and then just sits in front of them like he's totally enjoying the whole action.
Yeah.
So,
wow, wow, wow. He digs it. And you know, we live in the arse end of nowhere. So when I say it's quiet at night,
yeah.
It's quiet.
But now that people know we have alarms,
Now the
sensors, everything. They just don't know we have cameras so we can watch everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, the other night we had I don't know, at least 12 wildebeest come past our house. So at night you can hear the footsteps, but you're not quite sure of what you can hear. The first night I thought it was horses. Turns out it's just wildebeest.
Yeah.
And the poor gardener is so poop scared at night now. He's not sure if it's the wildebeest or the criminals coming.
The scallions, yeah.
But we know
It's
it's
in
the
Yorga.
wildebeest.
Yeah, man, we have a lot of wildlife, but then again, we have this other dude, and I think that he has been in and out of this place for the last few years. Now the stories, now the stories start to fall out of the closet, you know, and then we hear, and then it kind of, until you put it all together, you draw your picture, because nobody's done anything for so long, and petty crime has just been left because it's not my issue and it's not my issue.
It doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to report it.
Yeah, and then the owner of this place, who's like got other stuff going on in life, this is not his priority, you know, so he has to rely on intel, what he's told. So of course he'll only do what he can if he has to, you know. So if nobody reports anything and if nobody makes an issue about stuff, then of course he don't know, the landowner don't know, you know. And the guy that's making the crime, well, for him this is like Christmas, you know, because he just waits. He's just got a little routine. Oh, I just go there every second week. For the last 2 months he's been here every week pretty much, but now you check, it's getting winter, it's chilly. Maybe he'll come a bit later. Maybe he'll stop coming June, July and start again in August.
He won't stop coming because he's figured out how to make a hook out of a curtain rail.
You know, and yeah.
So now
5 rand, 10 rand a day.
I take all the stock out of the studio every night and I hide it away like a crazy old lady. So that if he makes a hook out of our curtain rail, he at least can't steal the beanies my mother crocheted, you know what I mean? It's like, that would be a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, hectic. Yeah, and you know, when you're in a situation where you can't really afford to lose what you have, the consequences of such silly stuff is quite dire.
Yes.
You know.
10 beanies is 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got
You
paid
can go
rent.
and buy a lot of drugs with that. Anyway,
Yeah, crazy.
yeah, our garden has died back a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah.
Can see the wood from the trees.
Yeah, amazing. Yet there's still food growing, I just want to say. Not that we're eating it because of monkeys. But
Well, we're feeding the monkeys in winter at least, Sean.
yeah, but there's tomatoes and there's
Well, we're not
butternut still
feeding them, they're
cooking.
stealing.
Oh no, and then I see that the oaks charred my entire parsley tree. I wanted to tell you, there was a parsley growing throughout the season, hidden away
Yeah.
in the forest, the food forest. And then yesterday or the other
obviously
day I
needed
was tidying
vitamins.
and cleaning, and I was like, oh, check, I got a parsley. And I cleaned around it, all proud. And yesterday my boy and I went into the garden and the parsley plant is gone.
Well, that's why we are enclosing our porch so we can seed.
Yeah.
And we're starting, Bez is making a cool little greenhouse that side. So we're going to be able to go from seed in our enclosed porch area to our little greenhouse tunnels on that side.
Mm.
And we'll grow monkey food this
This
side,
side.
but that side is human food. At least we can protect it.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous. They get into everything.
Oh, just too clever.
But at least they're healthy. I mean, they get all their vitamins and minerals and everything from the
Yeah.
Sanders garden.
Yeah, they're doing really well actually. They're
Yes.
looking good.
Nobody else does anything here. They don't grow anything. The one dude grew lettuce and the porcupine child all of those. So that's the end of the lettuce story. And monkeys do chew on weed bushes. Not all of them, but definitely the monkey that needs medicine
We'll eat the
absolutely
bugs.
eats the bud off the weed bush.
So I was thinking though the other day, my brother, is that remember when you had the rabbits? Remember how they started off, they didn't eat anything, and then they slowly started on this thing, and at the end they ate everything. So then I was thinking, because we were talking about herbs, but you know what? If we have a lot of anything, it's only a matter of time till one of them decides to take a try.
If you're going to eat a sage bush, then good luck to you, Chana.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? You're going to sit and eat rosemary. I mean, surely you can only ingest so many rosemary prickles. So, no, I don't know. I don't want to eat a lavender bush. For me, that's like, I'd rather bath in it than eat it. But I'm not a monkey, so I don't know. Weird, eh?
Do you like some?
Oh, a little bit.
Just a little. How's the non-smoking going?
No, it's wonderful. But when I do smoke it, then the paranoia sets in a little bit. So.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, but this is all good stuff now. It's all homegrown. No fancy funny stuff on it. Yeah, interesting, eh? My lady has been on a self-healing thingy. Thank you.
34 years of smoking marijuana, and now I smoke once a week, one drag. It's actually quite bizarre. I never thought I've been a big marijuana.
Yeah, promoter.
You
I
know,
suppose. No.
I am still. It's just that clearly my body has taken 34 years to get its fill. And now I'm full.
Yeah.
No, there's just some people's marijuana is not okay. Makes me not okay. And I'm already a woman and I already have loopiness. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need to smoke a plant to be more loopy. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
So cool.
Yeah. So Baz's stash is lasting him a long time.
Ah.
Don't have to share.
Yeah, how's that?
Is it sad?
No, it's okay.
At least I still
It's
drink.
okay. I was blessed you had a
Mocha
great
chocolates.
harvest, so yeah, man. No more. Yeah. Got enough to have our own, so that is okay. Let that cycle begin. So it is definitely
Yes.
a cycle, and it requires some TLC and some work and some effort. And once it starts, and then you just
Yeah.
got to maintain it. So, yeah. You know, is that not how we all make our effort to get off this grid, hey?
What are you doing?
Sorry.
It's balancing on the rocks.
Yeah, are you guys making an effort to become a little bit more sustainable, lighten your load on the system?
You know, because the third wave is here, guys.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We never talk about the sea thing, eh? That's why I'm not banned from YouTube. What the thing? The big
Big
thing.
V.
Yeah.
Well, I had to put a post out about it this morning because I see a lot of people are going for the big V.
Okay.
And
Can we say our stance?
I just got to protect my home. I work from my home.
Yeah.
You know what I
You work
mean?
from
So,
home.
and we have our own health issues. So we don't need people
And
coming in
also-
all contagious because we know
Yeah.
that when you get the big V for anything, you actually get all those symptoms. And if you get the symptoms, it means that you're actually quite contagious.
Yeah, can we just educate about these
So
things?
I'm
Just-
not a doctor and I'm not a specialist.
Okay. So here's my understanding. I used to look after horses,
Yeah.
you know, for more than a decade, 10 years. And at the point of my looking after horses, I looked after 27. So if you know anything about horses, you will know that once a year, South Africa has a scary disease called African horse sickness. Only found here, nowhere else in the world. Although in the last few years there have been talks in the UK, and so again a virus spreading due to climate change. It's rubbish, but I'm not saying it's not going places. I'm just anyway. African horse sickness. The only place it didn't happen was in the Cape. And if you know your history, we have had issues before the Boers came. Okay, so
Serious with African horse sickness.
African horse
So
sickness.
long ago.
Yeah, there's. I'm
So
trying
where
to
does
think.
it come from?
There-
Do you know?
It's It's
No,
a
but I
virus.
mean-
It's like the tsetse fly and malaria, and there are natural
just
areas like no-go zones on the planet in land for certain species, and there's reasons for that. I
Okay.
believe it's quite an involved thing, but that's
Alright.
kind of the idea. So, African horse sickness. Man, there are places in the Free State, little hills. There's a town somewhere that were actually set up because it was called, I think it's Sweetwater or something, and it was actually set up as a little go-to post, a town, because it was the only place in the African horse sickness area that didn't get African horse sickness, if that makes
Okay,
sense.
so like a safe
Like a
zone,
little
eh?
safe zone, a little island in it. So there are
And
some
it's
amazing
seasonal,
stories.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
So my understanding is there are 7 kinds Yeah. And in South Africa, we have a veterinary hospital called Unscripted. Yeah. And the clever scientists and vets there, they every year come up with this vaccine that we give our horses. 2 parts, A and B, 4 weeks apart. Yeah. And it comes as a little dehydrator, and you got to keep it cold, and then you put X amount of juice in it, and you dissolve it, and you inject your horses. It goes into their skin. Yeah. It dissolves away. So, number 1, my horses got sick. Some of them got very sick. Some of them didn't. You didn't know. Yeah.
When it was too late.
However, I used to break my horses up into groups, and they weren't allowed to be active for 6 weeks. Okay, they were allowed to do. Yeah. So in the stable and just be a horse. They had annual leave during their vaccine period.
How frustrating for the horse. 6 weeks.
Some of those horses were sick. So, if you know anything about that, if you follow what I've just said, my horses didn't affect each other. I'm not a vet, so I can't give you reasons. I just know that they were sick. With us humans, what they were doing... So anyway, let's get back to the 7 kinds. Every year, they gambled on which vaccine, because not one vaccine could affect all 7. So there might be 1 or 2 vaccines that could do 5 or 3.
5 out of the
horse 7, out of the horse sickness strain. Do you understand? So when South Africa vaccinates their horses, they're kind of relying on the brains of Unscripted to go, this year we're going to have this, and this African horse sickness.
That's why horses still pass.
Do you understand?
During the season, even though they've been vaccinated.
Understand? Okay, that's one of the reasons. Okay, so it's not 100% foolproof. Just because you vaccinated your horse, you're not going to get horse sickness, African horse sickness, because you might get African horse sickness 20774 of the strain 2077AB4758 Do you understand? I don't get it. I'm not a vet. But anyway, so that in a nutshell for us dwarf folks that look after wild animals, that's kind of how it works. And how do I know that? Because it was told to me by a vet.
Okay.
So
your vet friend. Like what's his name?
Oh, Dr. Fred. I have none of those.
Skullkeeper said note, you and your doctor friends.
Okay, we're
going to say again one.
I see we have neither doctor friends or neither vet friends. You Skulk Poseidon notes. Go check out a funny.
Oh, he's so cool. We'll put a link in the comments.
Okay.
Hilarious.
All right. So no, Skulk Poseidon notes. I don't have any vet friends. Or doctor friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So on that note, my understanding, if you take a vaccine, if you get vaccinated, they inject antibodies into your body. Well, they inject things into your body so that your body is now a small amount of that African horse sickness, a small amount of that virus. They inject into your body so that your body creates antibodies to fight that. And those antibodies are then alive in your body, and then during that period of time that the African horse sickness viruses are at their peak, the horses that I've injected have already still got their antibodies ready to fight this virus.
Over there.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Cool. But for us people, if we take such things, vaccines, which this is not, I just want to say, it is not, we take it and we are sick with that thing. And it makes us...
But we're supposed to be so scared of it, so now why would we put that thing in our body?
So, us as a family, we live far away. We kind of have isolated from the beginning of this thing last year, March 2020. And the people that we interact with are small individual numbers, and for the most part they are awake and clever people, and we will not get whatever it is here, because it's got to come from outside.
That's why I have a heart attack when people are coughing and schnoffing and and this one's got it, and my mother's in hospital with it, but she's sitting in my chair
but you know what, before we all believe, because I don't actually believe there's such a thing as it, because they haven't actually shown the strain. There isn't a strain of this
just put
virus.
it out without any proof.
So where's the evidence?
But yet-
show us what that is. You clever
Yet,
people.
yesterday I see there's a post about a man passing away in Namibia on the same day he got the big V,
you see.
and with a letter and a stamp and everything from the Namibian government.
Yes, you
and-
said it was quite
Anyway,
legit.
and it looked quite legit to me, but I know there's like fraudsters out there. I'm not stupid.
And fake
But
news and
the people in the comments were quite like, "Oh, well, show me the proof." Show
What,
me
that
the
he
proof.
passed
Show
away?
me the proof that he passed away as a result of the vaccine. But it's not about passing away from the actual vaccine. It's passing away from what the vaccine does to the rest of you. So if you have problems,
get
adding
serious.
that to your body will bring your problems to the forefront.
Mm.
So like my mom has varicose veins. She battles with varicose veins. She asked me, "Do you think I should take the vaccine?" Well, you're an 81-year-old lady, you're well educated, you've lived through all these pandemics. You tell me
Born
if it's
in 1940.
okay for you to take the big V.
Yeah, you're healthy.
You're healthy, but you have a circulation problem. I have a thyroid problem. Christine has survived skin cancer, aggressive skin cancer. So why would the three of us want to add something to our bodies that would bring what we have tried so hard to heal over the last decade of our lives back to the forefront?
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? So that's my logic. I don't know if I'm off the beaten track, but I just think people are so quick to say, "Hey, show me the proof." But why aren't you questioning Big Pharma?
Yeah, why aren't you questioning the government? Why do you
Are you
believe...
taking everything at face value? Have you looked at the contraindications on the little piece of paper that's supposed to be in the box? The law states that there has to be a piece of paper in your box. Any medication you get from Big Pharma, they have to declare things. Have you read the people who have gone for it?
Actually, don't even worry about that, because I don't even think they come with that, because they just inject you and walk away.
so
So that's
already
number one.
I
But
have a
number
problem
two,
with that
you
now,
know.
eh?
But do you guys even know what your contraindications on the pieces of paper you get in the medical boxes you have in your cupboards?
You should Google that shit.
Because I bet you none of you, and I'm not pointing fingers at all Montanans, I'm just saying, even yolks, because we have no medicine in our house, and the medicine we do have, most of it is oils and tissue salts, and
And water.
yeah. So I don't have Pinados and Disprins, and I might have Allergex, and if I do have anything else, it's probably hardcore, and it's only designed to save your life. So, yeah, but go read all the indications of the stuff you bought at the chemist over the last 3 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
because everybody we are talking, all you people listening to us now, I promise you, all of you have something from the chemist in your house that you take more than once a week. Okay?
Well, I hear
Go
about
read
people
those.
taking handfuls. I'm like, well, what makes you so different to a heroin addict who
Thank
takes
you.
a little bit at a time?
Yeah, what made you different to me as a drug addict? So I'm going to go back to something. Where in this whole picture did we lose the right to have a say over our own bodies? Because it's coming. And why I say that is now apparently in the UK, you know, nurses and that are not asking for permission. So people going into medical facilities and stuff, yeah, and a nurse will be come up and they're just being swabbed. And it happens in our hospitals and our medical centers, okay? People are not asking you for permission. So this is what I know. I used to teach first aid. So I used to be a first aid instructor.
Oh, yes.
You know? And as a first responder, as a first aider, I'm not allowed to touch you. I have to come up and go, "Hello, can you hear me? Are you okay? Do you need assistance? Hi, my name's Barry. I'm a first responder. Can I help you?" Yeah? The only time I can touch somebody without them giving me permission is if I know they need help and they are not in a capacity to answer. But even if they look at me and I can see the arm is off and the heart's pumping and I know I can save this person, if that person goes no, I'm not allowed to touch. Okay? There is a rule. If I take somebody out of the ocean and I save their lives and they die while I'm trying to rescue them, I can be held liable for what? Second degree murder or so there's a whole little clause. It was a long time ago, but by assisting, I become complicit in it. If I didn't ask to help, I'm not allowed to be involved. So how is it that all of a sudden I got to take a vaccine. But nobody's asked me. But as a first aider, I can save your life. But if you say no, I'm not allowed to touch you. Okay?
Let's look at the guy who designed all this crap. Who's now let out like 150 million or 150,000 or whatever.
Mosquitoes.
Nanotechnology. So I always talk about my nano little robot wasp. Okay.
I'm going to make one. So they're more on the mosquitoes at the moment.
Florida, USA. I hope you guys know what's coming your way, because the
Zika
guy
virus.
who's designed the big V and the whole thing, you know, that whole thing that's happening over the last year, that same dude has designed nano mosquitoes to control the populations. And we're all okay with that.
They have what, 11 zones or 7 zones in Florida. They've zoned different areas
Guys,
within that place.
What happens when you get stung by that mosquito? And what population is he talking about? Because the article on my Facebook page doesn't mention whether it's the mosquito population or the world population. But we just assume it's the mosquitoes, because why would somebody want to send out nano mosquitoes to control the population?
No, but they did that, remember, in Brazil. When we got there, they just let them off in the jungle.
And again, there they didn't say anything.
But that was to get rid of the mosquito issue, hey?
Well,
and then everyone got Zika.
That people still think you're getting injected with a fucking SIM card size chip.
Yeah.
Guys. Nanotechnology mosquito?
Yeah.
Not a SIM card chip going into your arm.
Yeah, just on that note, there is a company, I said this the other day, that can take coding, I don't know how it works, and they condense it and they put it into DNA. And this DNA can record throughout the supply chain. So they're doing it for the food supply chain. So they're doing it for a lettuce client. This is, I've forgotten, it was a while ago, but basically in a nutshell, they've labeled this nanotechnology, this thing, and they've condensed it and put it into DNA, and they mix it in the water. Then they spray the lettuce, and all the way through to your toilet, to the effluent outflow, they can track this lettuce through
your body, who you are,
through which shop it went to, just through like the water that's being flushed out of the system. So if it came from point A and it went to point B, and then point B they took a water and they sprayed it down, and it went into the thingy, and somebody was out on where the water comes out of that shop, and they're testing, they go, oh, check, the lettuce was here, and then they can follow it all the way to after I've eaten it and I've gone to the toilet in the morning. You go Google it, check it out. I'm not talking rubbish. They can do this stuff. They can track, and there's a whole thing, because it's going to change the way the supply system works, and and they can track your products. And
I mean, we're supposed to wash our lettuce in apple cider vinegar.
But now they can make stuff that they can put on our food that doesn't disappear, and it keeps. It's a genetic code.
You see.
So I think it's awesome. I think technology is amazing, but the question is, what are the ramifications of that? When you throw a pebble into water, it doesn't matter how big or how small that pebble is, it still makes ripples. So what are the ripples of us eating that lettuce?
Wow, we're so hell-bent on keeping everybody alive.
While we were talking about population increase.
Why are people so afraid to die? What is the problem, guys? You go and read how old the people were when they passed away. I mean, the world was overpopulated. If you go watch the Hollywood movies, you'll see how overpopulated even the cowboy towns were, man. But, we don't have that. We're trying to keep the human species alive. But an orb spider stays alive for 12 months.
Yeah.
The orb spider doesn't have feelings. It doesn't feel like it's being hard done by. And you know what? Its babies don't sit around and cry. So I don't know.
They get on
There's
with life.
There's just something that is not okay, and we have all been led to believe it's okay to prolong a human's life. But does that even sound okay? Do you want to live with your problem for the next 40 years? Not really. I don't know. It
No.
might be different. You know, I don't know. I just think, yes, if you have diabetes, you must know you've done it to yourself and you are going to die, and your life expectancy is this.